Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
Hello, you're listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized. I am your host, Janet Taylor, and I want to say hello if you're a regular listener, and welcome if this is your very first time listening to the show. And I also want to say hello to all the wonderful people in the chat room this evening. And as I said, our guest, Lynn Edwards, was going to be in the chat room this evening, but Lynn informed me earlier that she is going to jump in the chat room once she is finished to interview people, so I know you're excited about that. And I want to say a big thank you to all of the listeners out there. We reached 10,000. Yay! So I just want to thank you so much for your support. It just means a lot to me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. But, of course, let me get started on tonight's lineup. We're going to have the organized presenter with Lynn Edwards of Virtual Excellence Business Solutions, who's going to, of course, be in the chat room. But before she goes in the chat room, we're going to interview her, and she's going to answer your questions. So call in, people. And, of course, we're going to do Taylor's Tip Time, and we're going to do some other things as well, because tonight we've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things we're giving away. Yay! So tonight is the organized presenter, and I found some fun facts in regards to speaking, which is about our topic, presenting, speaking, getting in front of a group of people, and presenting your message. Did you know that the longest speech in the House of Commons was 6 hours long, and that was the record set in 1828? Can you imagine just speaking for 6 hours long? And did you know the shortest presidential inaugural speech was given by George Washington in 1789? And it was 135 words long, 135 words long. And statistics says that 3 out of 4 people, that 75%, have a speech anxiety, and this suffering troubles them when they're delivering speeches. So that's why I wanted to have this topic tonight, to give all of you some information so that when you do have to present, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable just knowing how to organize your information and how to make a presentation that will give them people that wow factor. So I want to follow up in regards to those facts with some tips from Taylor's Tip Time. And these are just my tips to help you out there, whether you're presenting in front of 10 or 10,000, because I like to think big. And number 1, organize everything you need for your presentation, your handouts, the equipment, etc. Make sure you confirm the date. Make sure you confirm the time, the location, and also ask them how the room will be set up, because that may help a lot of you who are just speaking for the first time, presenting for the first time, just to get familiar and just in your mind visualize what your room will be like. Practice, practice, practice. Make sure you prepare the night before your outfit, your materials, check whatever equipment you're going to have, and make sure you arrive early and get familiar with the room and the setup. And that's key, because there's going to be times when they may need to get an extension cord, equipment may not be working, and so that's always good for you to get there early and just to really familiarize yourself and get set up. Introduce yourself to people. That's why I like arriving early. I like going up to people, finding out why they came to the presentation, getting comfortable with them getting comfortable with me. And also, it helps you because there are times when people are a little tense. I remember I did a presentation for teachers, and a woman came in. She just had a really bad morning. And I greeted her, but she told me that afterwards she came up to me and she said, I looked at you. I felt that you couldn't teach me anything, but I really learned a lot from this presentation just by you and how, generous you were with your information. So sometimes it's always good just to really just talk to people. And last but not least, make sure you schedule time for follow up. So those are my Taylor's Tip Times for the week. And now I am going to bring on one of my favorite guests, and, of course, my favorite consultant, too, Miss Lynn Edwards of Virtual Excellence Business Solutions. Good evening, Lynn.
Hi, Janet.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad to be here with you and your listeners.
Oh, well, thank you. And tonight, of course, we're going to talk about the organized presenter. And before we talk about that, I want you to tell the listeners, and I know some of them have already heard it, but really, what is Virtual Excellence Business Solutions? And before you say anything, Lynn, I just want to let you know there's people in the chat room, so I know they're excited about you jumping in.
I'm looking forward to that. That's something new to me, so I'm excited about being in the chat room and being able to hopefully answer some of your questions.
Great. So tell the listeners about Virtual Excellence.
Well, Virtual Excellence, we are just evolving. I'm just loving where we're headed and the things that we're doing and the new ventures we're taking on. And right now, we are specializing in working with small business owners, such as business coaches and authors and speakers like yourself, to help them manage their online visibility. We manage your administrative tasks, but we also jump in and take care of your social media maintenance and setup. We do e-commerce, which is managing your products and setting up your shopping carts and building your online payment gateways. We manage your WordPress websites and blogs, so we'll set those things up and manage those for you as well. And my favorite thing to do is newsletters and e-zines and broadcasts. So we're really excited about taking on some of the new things that we're doing, like the e-commerce portion. That's a new feather in our cap, and we're always excited about working with our clients and just joining with fantastic business owners like yourself, Janet.
Thank you. Well, tonight, of course, the topic is the organized presenter. And what are some things, Lynn, you see presenters do that can have a negative impact on their image and, draw the audience attention away from really what the main focus of their presentation is?
That's such an interesting question, Janet, because I know that no business owner, no presenter wants to have a negative impact on their business. They don't want to have a negative impact on their brand, especially when you're a presenter, because you're before a group of people. You want to make the best impact possible. I work with a lot of speakers, and I work with both online speakers and presenters, such as webinars and teleclasses, and I also work with speakers that speak at events and meetings and conferences. And so your image in any industry it's everything. You don't want to have a negative impact, and you don't want your brand and your reputation to be tarnished because of something that you probably could have prevented. And I think that the top thing that I could suggest would bring that negative impact is to be unprepared. And I just noticed that with oftentimes, it's unfortunate when speakers are not prepared for whatever reason. Things come up that, there could be something that happened, but taking the steps behind the scenes to make sure that you're prepared is so critical, to make sure that when you get before an audience, even if you might have had a flub or something didn't happen the way that you wanted it to, that you're still able to manage it. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
As opposed to, your audience can tell. They can tell if you're nervous. They can tell if you're blasé. They can tell if you're excited, if you're passionate about what you're saying. And when you're excited and you're passionate about it, even if there was a slip up, even if you didn't prepare as well as you should have, I think your passion can sometimes shine through, but it's just better to be to be prepared. You're presenting for an audience. They've taken the time to sign up. They've taken the time to travel to your event, or to, whether it was an online session, they filled out a registration form. They went through the process of wanting to sit in on your presentation. So not taking the time to be prepared is sort of disrespectful to those people who have put in the time to and invested the time in you. So, just making sure that you're knowledgeable about your topic. Typically you're asked to speak about what you know about or your area of expertise. So I think that a lot of times, and I've seen this with speakers, you figure, oh, well, I know about that anyway, so, I'll get there and I'll wing it. And that's just the worst attitude that you could have. And it brings that negative impact that you really don't want, because sometimes you think you can wing it, and then you get a question that you can't answer, or you get something that comes your way that you could have made preparation for, that you didn't. And, I've seen people walk out of presentations. And it doesn't matter whether it's a small church setting or whether it's a huge corporate event. You want to just be able to put your best foot forward. You want to be able to captivate your audience. You want to make sure that you're not looking and sounding like a deer in headlights, and that you're passionate, and that you're ready, and that you're adding value to the audience that you came to present before.
Yeah, and that is so true, because, I know for myself, when I was doing everything, after I did a presentation, I would find, typographical errors, and it was like, oh, I can't believe that. Or, like you said, people don't come prepared. They don't practice. I know I've been speaking for years, but I still like to practice my materials to the point where I feel comfortable enough if I have to go off into another, subject matter, I can still bring myself back.
Absolutely.
To what, the main topic is. So yeah, because I know, we both have seen the good, the bad, and the
bad and the ugly.
The ugly and the ugly, and the ugly. And I think for me, one of the things that really got me thinking about, hey, I can do this, is I went to a presentation. It was a little community organization, but I went, and the woman, she said we can all take a break or whatever, and she just pulled out her fine china. And I was just amazed. I was like, wow. And I just saw how she presented. She sat down the whole time, which sometimes in some situations, because I recently did a coffee clatch, and it was basically everybody was sitting down. So sometimes it does call for you to sit down. But I just felt like, wow, if she can do this and, really... capture this many people, which I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed. It's like, well, why can't I do this? So,
right. So one of the things that I do with my clients, Janet, is that I try to make sure that we have a checklist to ensure that we've covered everything, and that we have a backup plan, and that that the plans are in place, so that if there is something that we've forgotten, or if there's something that we didn't check off the checklist, that we are as ready as we can be. And I think that that's the main point. In anything, you need to be as ready as you can be. And taking the time to prepare helps you to do that. So that if you have to wing it, if you have to make adjustments, that you're able to do that, and that it's not as difficult a task as, it could appear to be in front of your audience.
So, Lynn, what are some of the things presenters need to consider that are often overlooked when they're presenting?
Well, I think, and even along the same lines as the first question, I think that making sure that you have great materials, whether that's in your presentation, your PowerPoint presentation. There's nothing worse than sitting in a session and watching a speaker whose PowerPoint is just either not set up correctly, or it has errors, like you were saying, with typos. It's not attractive. It's, the slides are out of order. You're sitting there and you you feel bad for the person who's speaking, but at the same time, it's like, wow, your team just really dropped the ball here, and it makes you look bad. So, I think that considering your materials before you go out, making sure that you have the best of everything, you have the best business cards, not the ones that you're crossing out the old phone number or the old email address on. You have the best handouts, that everything is visually appealing. Your audience, they signed up to come and hear you, and they deserve the best of what you offer. So you want to present yourself the best. You want to make sure that you are visually appealing, that you look good at, as best as you possibly can. If you're online, if you're doing an online presentation like a teleclass or a webinar, you want to make sure that you checked everything out before you get there. You want to check your bridge line, make sure that your printed materials that you've sent out have the correct phone number. I think there's nothing worse than getting on a teleclass and nobody shows up because they're dialing into another number.
Wow. You don't really think about stuff like that. Wow.
You don't really think about those things, but those are detailed things that have to be addressed prior to, your presentation. When you're presenting, you want to make sure that you've checked, the software for your webinar. Does it work correctly? Or like you said earlier, getting to your destination on time or before time, so that you can test your presentation to make sure that it's viewing correctly on the screen, so that it's visually the way that you initially hoped it would have been. So those are the types of things that I think that are overlooked. And then another thing, Janet, is and I think this goes to also having a negative impact also, is when you don't have a call to action, when you've presented and you've sat down and nobody knows how to contact you. Wow. They don't know, where your website is. And if you were a good presenter, they'll look for you for a minute. But, after a while, then it's like, and then that's a loss of income for you. You could have been selling your products. You could have been building your list. You could have been adding to your community. Having a call to action, letting people know where you are, what you're doing. I don't recommend doing that through your entire presentation because I think that can sometimes be viewed as tacky. But just making sure that everything that you're putting out there reflects you, it represents you, it offers something of value to the people that have signed up to come and hear you speak.
And that is true, because as you were speaking, I was thinking about, I had to do this was a presentation to a potential client, and basically, in the beginning, I was prepared to bring my laptop and do my presentation, but because of security reasons, I was not allowed to bring my laptop, only my flash drive. So then I had to buy a brand new flash drive because they had to scan it, just to make sure that, nothing else was on it. And 4 laptops later, they were unable because there was just a slight shift in the conference room table, which messed up all of their cable. And therefore, I was not able to do the presentation so people in another city could see it.
Wow.
And which was bad for them. But, because I had to know my presentation, basically, I had to really just go through it, just by memory, because I couldn't do the PowerPoint, because, of course, when you do the PowerPoint, you can just really kind of present. But, so I had to have a plan B. But also one time when I was a part of a webinar and the person did not close all of their windows on the computer. So I saw the emails, I saw documents, which were probably confidential. So those are some things that, as presenters, whether we're presenting to clients or to, just a presentation, just for business to business, we have to take all of that into consideration.
Absolutely. And I think that, how you speak is something that you need to take into consideration. If you're a fast talker, like you said, you want to run your presentation with a partner. Go over it, time it, make sure that that somebody's causing you to think before you step on that stage, before you pick up the phone and have your presentation. You want to make sure that you're speaking in a clear tone. You want to make sure, you want to get pointers and tips so that you're able to get out there and deliver the best, most powerful presentation that you can. I think another thing is just turning off your cell phone. I've been in presentations where the speaker had to take their phone out of their pocket and turn the phone off. Yeah, so, just something minor like that, can just blow the whole thing for you. And like you just said with your flash drive, if you forget your flash drive or if it doesn't work, if you have your presentation online in a space like Dropbox.com, or if you put it on like a Google presentation file, then you're able to still view the presentation in case you have a dilemma like you ran into. So, there are things that you need to think of in the back end, and that goes to the point that we're making about organizing everything. And like I was saying, I have a checklist that we go over with clients to make sure that, we're covered, that we're hitting every point as best we can, so that when challenges present themselves, we're not as flustered. We want to prepare as best as we possibly can.
And you're right. You do have to, like you said, like usually what I will do now is I'll take my laptop and I'll have it on the desktop of my laptop, my presentation. But what I found now is it's always good to have my backup, and I'll bring a flash drive, which came in handy when I did the Philadelphia Home Show, because they were like, Janet, they should have told you not to bring your laptop because all you need is your flash drive.
Right.
And I was
in most cases.
glad. Yeah, and I was so glad that I had it because I was able to just put it in, and I really should have thought, because this was Comcast's stage. So, it should have just like Janet, they'll have all the technology. So, but yeah, it's always good to just have like those plan A's and plan B's.
Absolutely.
So Lynn, okay, so now you have any like final tips for our listeners? And of course, I know you have like some goodies. Don't you have goodies? Did you bring goodies with you tonight?
I came with goodies tonight. I hope your listeners are ready. I think that the whole point of everything that I've been saying tonight is just to take care of those things that are behind the scenes, making sure that you've developed a step-by-step system to have the most successful presentation. And like I said, whether that's in an online presentation or an in-person presentation, it's equally the same. You want to make sure that I think that you are who you are in front of people because you did what you did behind the scenes. So if you're a powerful, put together person in front of folks, that's because you took some time behind the scenes to get organized to be that way. And if you are not that person, you're the opposite of that, that's because you didn't put the work in to make yourself that way. And like I said, things happen, things come up, you have challenges, things present themselves, but when you're in the speaking business, or when you're, whether, like I love to say, because I enjoy speakers at church, but at the same time, I want to see the best quality, in that speaker. I enjoy speakers, in conferences and conventions, whether it's business or in other areas. I want to see the best quality speaker before me. And I know I can look at a team and say, wow, they really put their thing together in order for this person to get up and stand up and speak as powerfully and as effortlessly. That's the thing that you want things to appear, that they're effortless in your presentation, in your delivery afterwards. Whether you're an author and you're greeting people after the event, you want to be able to shake hands without having sweat all over them because somebody forgot to get you a towel. You know?
Yeah.
So all of those little things behind the scenes, just making preparation, and it's costly when you don't take care of those things because you'll miss out on opportunities. You'll miss out on additional opportunities that you could have gained from an event, and you'll miss out probably on the cost of sales that you could have probably been selling a product, you know. But it's worth it when you have people visiting your website, you know, signing up to receive your newsletter, and purchasing your products when you've done all of the things that you needed to do to go in and have a strong, powerful, valuable presentation.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, you gave a lot of good information. So first, I guess we'll do how can people contact you, and then we'll talk about the things that you bought, the gifts, the freebies.
Okay. People can contact me on my website at www.virtual-excellence.com, and on my email at lynn@virtual-excellence.com, and the places I hang out on Facebook at Virtual Excellence Biz. So it's facebook.com/Virtual Excellence Biz, and I'm on Twitter at twitter.com/Lynn_Edwards_VA.
Okay. So first I'm going to ask if there's any callers on the line that have any questions for Lynn. Let us know. You can tell us what your little freebies are because the chat room has got a lot of people in there, Lynn. They're really waiting for you.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're really waiting for you to jump in there. So.
Well, what I brought for your listeners today is a special offer. I am offering for 1 week only my online speaker checklist. So they can get the checklist that I use for speaking events for my clients for free. All you have to do is visit my Facebook page at facebook.com/Virtual Excellence Biz. And there's a tab on there that I created just for your listeners. They can click that tab that says BTR offer. So that's for Blog Talk Radio. BTR offer, and you'll be able to sign up to get to receive that checklist if you're interested in receiving that.
Okay, so they got to go to your Facebook page in order to get the free offer, correct?
Go right to my Facebook page and.
Okay, let me write that down. Let me write that down. Okay, so are there any callers out there that have any questions? Because if not, any callers want to make any comments to Lynn? Because if not, I'm going to let Lynn go into the chat room. Well, it looks like the chat room people are like waiting for you, Lynn. So.
You're making me nervous.
Well, Lynn, it seems like every time I look, it's like more people just jump into the chat room. So I'm going to let you jump into the chat room.
Okay.
I'm going to continue the show, and then I may jump into the chat room with you at some point in time.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me again, Janet. It's always a pleasure.
A pleasure. And, of course, you'll be coming back soon, and I'm going to tell them about that, too. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, that was Lynn Edwards of Virtual Excellence Business Solutions. So she's jumping in the chat room right now. So, and then she'll jump in there, and then, of course, she'll answer all your questions for you. And then, of course, after I finish tonight's show, I am going to jump in the chat room as well. As Lynn said, you go to her Facebook page, you get the free offer. So I hope you all will take advantage of that and get her free offer. And then I have a free offer I'll be announcing as well. Yay. See, today is like Free Offer Monday. Aren't you glad you listened? So I want to just jump right into Janet's mailbag. I truly want to thank all of you for your tweets, your emails, your posts on Facebook, and I just want to say that it really has touched me because I read one post on Facebook and it almost just brought tears to my eyes to just really know how much of an impact I'm having on your lives as well as your journeys to living an organized life. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing, and just continue to share, continue to post things on Facebook and Twitter. I will respond. Continue to send me emails because I love it. I love connecting with all of you and just learning about your journey to living an organized life. And also, one of the things that I do on Facebook is every Tuesday is Toss Tuesday. Toss Tuesday. Of course, tomorrow's Tuesday, and I'll be putting another tip out there on Toss Tuesday. But last week, it was the office. Toss something in the office. And what I did was basically I suggested, we get those menus when we go to lunch, do takeout, whatever. We've got like 5, 6, and 7 of the same menus. Just narrow it down to one and have like a central location for all the menus in the office so everybody can share. That's what we do at one of the sites where I work at doing my government contract work. Is we have like one special location. Of course, it does help to have Miss Totally Organized working in the office with you to actually help you just keep everything all nice and organized. And then also any pens that don't work, memos, etc. All that stuff that's just old and dated, just get rid of it. And, of course, I just want to thank all of you in the chat room right now. I'm sure Lynn will be getting there soon, so I'm excited about that. Of course, if you have questions for Lynn, just start shooting them out right now, and I'm sure she will let you know when she has entered the chat room. So that's what I wanted to tell you about Janet's mailbag. And then, of course, what's going on with me. August 7th, I will be speaking for a radio show based in London. And next week, I will have all of those details for you. And, of course, I'm going to post them on Facebook and Twitter, all the complete details. And there's another show called Principles of Prosperity, and I have to coordinate with that host because of my schedule, because I really would like to be on that show as well to provide you with some organizing tips, etc. And Lynn was giving away free stuff, and I'm giving away free stuff. So you got to go to Lynn's Facebook page, but if you go to my Facebook page, and there's a little star, and if you click on that star and you sign up for my newsletter to be on my mailing list, you will get a free copy of 25 Tips to an Organized Office. That's right, 25 tips to an organized office, which is an e-book I wrote. And I'm giving it away free just as a way of thanking you for just signing up to be a part of my mailing list, because being a part of my mailing list allows you to get my monthly newsletter, and which will help you on your journey to living an organized life. And, of course, you can go to my website at janetmtaylor.com. And for those of you who have not already ordered a copy of my 101 Secrets to Living an Organized Life book, you can actually read an excerpt from it and order your copy for yourself, for a loved one as well. So those are some of the things, and it looks like Lynn, I'm so excited because Lynn has entered the chat room. So I'm excited. So for all of you people who are out there in the chat room, Lynn has entered, and I'm just sending her a welcome, Lynn, and then I'm going to let her do what she does, which is talk about the organized presenter. So I see that Grandmother Ann may be on the line, so I'm not sure if she has any questions or comments, so just give me, she has a comment. So let me just signal let me go check out Grandmother Ann. Good evening, Grandmother Ann.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You must be on the road. Are you traveling? Are you on the road? Are you in the country?
I'm in the country. I'm in my backyard.
Oh.
And I'm telling you this, I am so excited because I have spoken, but I need Lynn. I need you and Lynn. But the tips that she has given are so tremendous, and getting everything set up, because I'm just now starting, and I think I'm going to be, speaking a little more. And someone has asked me, and they want me to be a part of a program that they're setting up. And Lynn, I am going to be in touch with you.
Okay.
Because you have such great ideas, and I need that, because I've gone without it. But it's nothing like being more professional. So I just appreciate you, and Janet, thank you. It's so awesome, because what I see, and with Totally Organized, Janet is bringing everything organized in all areas of your life, not only your home and your office, but all of the aspects of your life need to be organized.
And that is true, yeah.
And that's what you're showing through your show. I may not have an office, or I may not have a home, but I have a life. So you're just covering all of these areas, which we all need. And this is very important. And as you're saying, as we're receiving tonight, being organized in our speaking, and and what is important, one of the things that you said that was important, Lynn, was people have taken the time. They've spent their money. They've set aside their schedules to put your conference or whatever it is you have doing to come to hear you and be a part of it. They've paid. Sometimes people have to pay to come to the conference, but you have to, for your transportation and everything. And then you need to be ready for them. And you should do your very best. And I think that was very important to let people know, as speakers, to consider the audience.
And that is true. And that is true. And I'm bringing Lynn back on. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, I thought I was needed, so I called back in.
Yes, because grandmother Ann Strickland was like, oh, I got to call Lynn.
I heard.
Oh, I thought she was already on there. Hi, Lynn. That was awesome,
Hi.
Lynn. I love you. Yes. I am going to be in touch with you in the next few days, though.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love what you said. It's so important that that we value people's time, and people could be doing anything, but whenever they sign up and they register, and like you said, they oftentimes pay for events, and they pay to be a part of, to participate in what it is that you are a presenter of. You want to make sure that you're giving them your very best, and oftentimes that's not the case, but you want it when it comes to being you want to make sure that it is the case, that you're valuing people's time, that sometimes you finish early, that you don't even take your entire time, but you finish early to engage with people, like Janet was saying earlier, just to find out who people are and how your message may have impacted someone, or how it helped change their business or change their life, or something that you spoke was valuable to them. And so valuing that time, I think is critical in being a speaker and a presenter in any arena.
Yes,
and that is true. And it's something that as I see all these people in the chat room, because this chat room is full to capacity, but it seems like the people are a little shy about asking you a question. But one of the things I wanted to say, and I really don't want to offend anybody, but I would like for people who are presenters to come with some type of form, sign-up sheet, and not just grab a piece of paper and just have people put their names and email addresses. Come with a standard form, because it looks more professional.
Okay.
That's just my
your pet peeve.
Yes, that's my pet peeve.
Yes.
Because we've got all kinds of word processing software and things like that, so we can create a form. But of course, I have Lynn Edwards, so she took my colors and my logo and put it on a nice form, and we put it on a clipboard, and it looked really nice being able to pass that around to people, because you are the speaker, the expert, and whatever you're selling or whatever you're presenting, it's all the package. It's a package deal. So I just thought that just came to my mind, just, as I saw all the people out there. I said, well, maybe somebody just has like a little question. And then I said, well, I'll ask the question. I'll just throw it out there. I'll just throw it out there. So, but yeah, Lynn, I see, because can you see? Well, I don't know if you can see.
Yes, I can see that there are a number of people in the chat room. Yeah. And if you have any questions or comments, just shoot them on the chat line. I think it's easier because you don't have to call in. So I'd be glad to answer anything for you as best I can. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the presentation tonight. Whatever comments or questions that you have, I'll be here.
Do you have any questions for her, Ann, while you have her captive audience?
What I was going to suggest, do they people in the chat room, do they have to press the 1 for you to hear them? Do you hear me?
Oh no, we can just see what they can just type in what they need. Whatever the question. That's the chat room. So they don't have to press the 1. Yeah, no, they can just type in.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm sure.
Yes, this is very important for me to hear tonight.
Yeah.
Because,
great. I'm glad.
I told you I decided I now have become a member of the Southwest Senior Citizens Group, and I think I'm going to be there speaking or talking to the people, and I need to know how to present whatever it is I'm saying, even in the group sessions, and make sure that's done properly, even there. Not that I'll be the main speaker or anything, but just in sharing with the people and getting them encouraged and
absolutely. I think I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just jotting down a few points. To keep you on track with your presentation is a really good thing in small settings. And just making sure that you have topics that are relatable to the audience that you're going to be presenting to in a small setting. And just having things organized and neat and together. There's nothing worse than sitting in a presentation and somebody's trying to pull a wrinkled piece of paper out of their briefcase to try to, communicate with the group that they're presenting to. So, I think that those are a few tips that could help you in that respect.
Yes. Because, I was just down with the Southwest Believers Convention, and in our packet, they gave us notebooks because I was going to purchase a notebook because I always take notes. I have notes right here. I've been taking notes all night.
Wow.
And he gave us everyone had a notebook in their packet. And I thought that was great, so I didn't have to buy a notebook. But for people who maybe don't normally take notes, they still have a notebook. So I think that's very important because even if the only thing you're taking down is the contact information.
Right.
So this is good. So give your contact information again, Lynn, and so the people who might not have it or
sure thing. You can.
This is important. This is important because I think what you're doing and what Jan is doing. This is what we need now. This is what we need and need to know. And need to use these businesses, need to use you all business because it's I know you're both very professional. It's not junk. It's very professional.
Well, thank you, Ann. I actually have someone on the line from London that I'm going to bring on. So I will be talking to you soon.
All right.
Okay. Now you just stay on the line. You stay on the line, Lynn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello,
Hello.
Ebony.
Hiya. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry I missed most of the show, but I was asleep, and I was trying to wake up in time to catch
Well, yeah,
you.
but there's a time difference, because what time is it there in London?
It's 1:45 now.
In the afternoon or the morning?
To the morning.
Oh my goodness.
See you in the morning.
Okay, so you're excused.
No, I got in from work and I just went to bed, and I thought, let me get up. And I set the clock, and I kept hearing it, and I was like, oh my god, let me stay a bit longer. And then I woke up and I thought, oh my god, I don't want to miss the show. I don't want to miss it. So at least I caught a little bit of your show.
And you can listen to the archives. So.
Yeah, I listened to the archives, but I did want to be on live and then capture some of what sounds like a really interesting topic. So, yeah, I'm really interested in presentations because that's something I do for my life, really. So, interesting to just hear some of the little things that you need to think about when you want to be effective in the way that you present to a larger audience, or a large or a small audience. It's all really good stuff. So, well done. I will listen to the podcast because, I need some tips. Even though I've been doing it a while, it's always good to refresh yourself on, on what you do, and just see if there's anything more that you can learn.
Absolutely.
Well, do you have any questions for Lynn, Ebony? Because she's on the line right now. So if you have any questions, or do you want to?
Our question may be, I don't know, that might help some of your guests, and I don't know if you covered that, some of your listeners, and I don't know if you've covered that already. But I guess for a lot of people, it's not so much the information, because we probably work really hard to get the information together and to make sure, it's good information. It is, how do you manage yourself at the time when you're going to actually present? How do you manage those nerves, controlling that whole thing of getting the information out in the way that you want it to?
That's a great question. And first I want to say I love your accent.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's such a great question because, you are the presenter. So, if you're not prepared mentally, if you're not prepared physically, a lot of times, that too can have a negative impact on your image. And so one of the things that I like to share with my clients is to, just spend a few hours prior to the presentation just preparing yourself, just kind of bringing everything down, not having a whole lot to do, not having, if you have a team around you, let the team work. And then you as a presenter, especially the day of the event or the day of the speaking opportunity, you want to be able to just be calm and relaxed and, take some deep breaths, listen to some good music, whatever it is that gets you in the right frame of mind. That's what you kind of want to do, especially just a few hours prior to the time that you're going to be presenting, because you have to be in the right spirit, the right frame of mind, the right place to deliver the content that you've already prepared working on behind the scenes to deliver.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff, because I think that's where a lot of people fall down. So, the whole nerves thing can really get the better of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you'll be nervous anyway. Most speakers are. You'll be nervous, but if you're prepared, if you've taken the time to just kind of get your mind good before you get on the stage or before you take that call, I think that those nerves, and with your passion and your enthusiasm and all of those things, everything, the energy rushing through you, all those things are happening, so you're able to just get out there and do what you've worked so hard to do.
Yeah, and I always get nervous, Ebony, but like she says, once I practice, I get up there, and it seems like once I open my mouth and say the first words,
it's over.
I just kind of go all in automatic mode. Yeah. So, and I mean, for me, sometimes it's just practice, and practice. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what really helps me, is if I just practice to the point where I feel like I could just do it, without any sheets, cue cards, or whatever, know.
Oh, brilliant. So do you suggest people take cue cards? Because some people do and some people don't. What's kind of the answer? Is there one method that's better than the other?
I guess it depends on the situation, because there have been situations where there was no place for me to put a cue card. I was just in front of a mic or in front of an audience. There are times when I will, and that's because of my eyesight, I will print things on like sheets of paper really big, my key points, so that if I do get kind of off course with a question or whatever, I can bring myself back to what, the flow of the whole presentation is. So that helps me. I'm sure Lynn has some additional tips, but that's what really helps me.
Okay.
I agree. I agree with what you just said. It always depends on the environment that you're in. It depends on the venue. It depends on a number of things. I think that anything that keeps you on track is totally good. So if you need cue cards, I particularly prefer PowerPoint presentations. That's my presentation of choice. But whatever helps you to stay focused, to stay on track. I've seen people sit in the front row with cue cards.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, like I guess that's what worked for them, just with just a point, like, oh yeah, you want to say this. So, whatever works for you. I think it's great.
Advice.
Yeah.
No, thank you, ladies. Great advice.
Thank you for calling in.
Well, thank you, Ebony.
Yeah, thanks. No problem. And you're going to be on my show soon. So.
That's right. I'm going to be on your show because your show is about relationships, but I'm going to talk about how clutter can affect relationships.
Oh, nice topic.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I'll be posting it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I'll be talking about it next week on the show.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. And,
yes,
and if
I am.
Ladies are around, I've got a show tomorrow night on Blog Talk. So it's going to be on. It's like a bit of a clash of the titans. I'm going to be meeting a guy who says he knows how to get into the minds of women. And what he's saying is that he teaches men. He actually is a kind of boot camp person, and what he does is help them to like find women. If what they want is just to have sex with women, he sets them up for that. If they want to be better husbands and partners, that's what he does. So I think it's going to be really interesting, because I think it's hard to know what women think. We are so different. Definitely.
Yes, we are.
So I think it's going to be an interesting show tomorrow night.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, it does.
5 p.m. your time till 7 p.m. So if you guys are around, hook in and check me out.
All right, Ebony. Thank you.
No problem. I'll just keep listening until you finish.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, Lynn, it looks like the people in the chat room are just a little shy tonight. Well,
I'm going to hang around. I'll hang around.
Okay.
Even after the show, and see if anybody gets up the courage to ask a question or make a comment, and I'll be here to answer.
All right, Lynn, and I'll join you in the chat room after the show is over.
Thanks, Janet.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, people in the chat room, Lynn said she's going to hang around just for you after the show. So, hey, if you got any questions, and I'm going to jump on the chat room in a few, just going to finish up a few things about the show. So, next week we're going to have Getting Your Financial House in Order with my dear friend Jackie Mayfield, who is the mother of only 6 children. And Jackie's going to be sharing tips that have been successful for her in her life and the lives of her client that have helped them reach their financial goal. I mean, this is a woman who, like I said, she's got 6 children. Her husband is currently in a nursing home, and she has been able to transform her family's finances to the point where they moved to a home in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and she has 3 college graduates, one in college, and of course she's got the 2 who are still, one in high school and one in junior high. But she has 3 college graduates, people, 3. And she not only teaches adults, but she also has empowered her children to have their financial houses in order as well. And I really wanted to have her come and just talk to us about doing the same. So she will be here next week. And then, of course, after that, we have the wonderful Vince Baker, who's going to talk to us about getting organized before you die. You know, all of that stuff that we need to get in order. And I am really thinking about having it as a 3-part, because first I want to talk to, he's a funeral director, just talk to it from his perspective. And then I'm really considering having some other guests on as well, talk about that topic, so we can have all of that done and organized so our family and our friends do not have to go through all of that stress. After that, Organize for Success with Ms. Ola Jackson of Onyx Woman Media. And then get the junk out your trunk with Valerie Anderson and talking about the emotional clutter, how we can let go. But I did want to make an announcement that in October, so mark your calendars, October is going to be focused all on the business, October. And I'm excited because I'm going to have the wonderful Christine Lewis Varley come back, and she's going to be talking about taking your business to the next level. And then, of course, Ms. Lynn Edwards, who is here tonight, she's going to talk about organizing our social media, because October is going to be the beginning where you need to plan for those of you who have products, you have services that you want to sell during the holiday. So, you know, you need to begin to get all of that information organized. Then I am going to connect with a gentleman who is a dear friend of mine, and he has multiple streams of income, and how he just is able to maneuver and do that, not only multiple streams, but then he's doing it in multiple states, and how he's doing that. And then to finish out October, I met a woman. I sat through her presentation twice, and she talked about basically how we need to present ourselves when we're networking, when we're eating, how to be organized, how to follow up. And it's all about etiquette, but it's really how to organize ourselves. You know, she even talked about how to make sure that when you are out networking and you may have your beverage and your appetizer, but make sure the certain hand is free to shake a hand, or when you walk into a room, make sure your business cards are in one hand so you can shake with the other hand. I mean, it was really good. So October, people, is all about business with those topics, because I want to help you, whether you're starting a business or growing a business, take it to the next level, and that's why we're going to start off with Christine Lewis Farley. But, of course, next week is Getting Your Financial House in Order with Miss Jackie Mayfield. I'm excited about that. And, of course, it's free. It's Freebie Monday. So go to Lynn's Facebook page and make sure you get her free offer. And then you go to my Facebook page and make sure you get my free offer as well, which is 25 tips to an organized office. And just to give you a little hint, once you get that freebie, I think I might have another one just in the wings waiting for you. So I do hope you have enjoyed the show. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, post it on Facebook, on Twitter. Again, I just want to thank all of you for listening and for allowing this show to grow, and for allowing me to do what I truly love to do, which is talk about the topic of organizing. And I just want to encourage somebody out there that no matter what is coming up against you, no matter how bad it looks, no matter whether you want to give in the towel or throw in the towel, please don't. So until next time, I want you to have a clutter-free day, but most of all, I want you to have an organized week.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.